Hey, welcome to another edition of Heart to Heart with Dr. Tartt. We're going live. I go live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1 p.m. In an effort, good friends and family, to do more. I want to do more when it comes to helping your relationships and your mental health. So we're gonna have a good time today. We're gonna have a good time today. And so welcome in. I see you all joining. No matter where you may be joining in, I'm excited. I'm excited about it today. Trying to do double duty, so you'll see me looking back and forth. Want to make sure that all the media platforms are hitting up. But y'all listen, my name's Dr. Aldwan Tartt. I'm excited. I'm excited about Dr. Tartt Live. This is something that I am doing. I've been in prayer about it and bringing you more access to me, more access to me, but really just so that I can improve your mental health, your relationships, and help you to feel good and feel great about life. Because let's be honest, y'all, 2022 was hard. 2021 was hard, right? And everyone is dealing with something. Everyone is dealing with something. So since you're here, I see you, Chris. I see you, James. I see you, Twiz, the Wiz, Honeycomb. I see you, Tara, Teresa, loving Christ in me. I love that. I see y'all. I see y'all tapping in. I'm excited. I see you. I see you. Right. So no matter where you're chiming in, let me know. So let's dive in. 'Cause I know this is your lunch hour. Y'all have things to do. All right. Even though some of y'all own the companies. All right. All right. So let's talk about it today. I promise. 5 love hacks to get you through shaky times in your marriage. And this comes from an article in today.com written by A. Pulowski. All right. I liked it. All right. I'll give people credit, right? People steal people stuff, they don't give them credit. And put together this list of 5 things based on a wonderful book I want y'all to check out called The All or Nothing Marriage: How the Best Marriages Work, right? It's a quick commercial before I dive in. Is I want y'all to go to my website, drchart.com, and check out. We're having a marriage class tomorrow, Thursday night, 9 p.m. You want a better relationship, better marriage? My wife and I are hosting Better Husband, Better Wife. And we're talking about how to help y'all feel closer right now. I'm gonna put y'all through interactive exercises, real time, interactive, right? To help y'all to feel good. Even if you want to kind of sit back and watch, you can do this in the privacy of your own home. So you'll be able to get a little bit of counseling, even though it's going to be more marital enrichment in your home. So make sure you go to drchart.com and sign up for that. All right, but let's dive in. 'Cause I want y'all to ask y'all questions. I want y'all to ask. We're gonna do it, right? All right. So first love hack is and let me tell you the book. It's called All or Nothing Marriages: How the Best Marriages Work by Eli Finkel. I actually read that book, right? Great book. Great book. Researcher out of Harvard. Number one, y'all, let me know what y'all think. Let me know what y'all think. Let's be real. Okay. Is think about conflict from the perspective of a neutral third party. All right, what does that mean? All right. So a lot of times when we're in conflict, we think about only our perspective, right? You're right. I mean, I'm right and you're wrong, and we fight to the death, right? But what actually helps is once you get both parties to kind of chill, calm down, slow down their heartbeat. We call that flooding. When your heart beats above 100 beats a minute, do you know most of us get crazy? That's when you start saying the crazy things in your relationship, right? That's I don't hate you, I don't like you, I never been in love with you. You don't get it done for me. You always do this. You never, sarcastic, cut people off, walk out, throw things. Anyway, all that happens after 100 beats a minute. But once you can get clients to slow down their heartbeats and say, "All right, chill," and you relax. Okay, say, look at this conflict from the party of a neutral third party and write about it. All right. And what you'll find is it unlocks the ability to look at something differently. All right. So you're like, man, I can see how Alduan would want to go out to eat because he's had a rough week. And I can totally see how Mecca, my wife, would want to stay in because it's cold outside, right? Rainy and ugly. All right. Third party would look at it and say, hey, you know what? Maybe y'all could rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Maybe you could drop Mecca off at the door so she doesn't have to be impacted by the weather. Maybe y'all do a candlelight dinner inside. But if you actually make yourself look for what a neutral third party would look like, this is how I do it with my clients. I say, what do you think that someone would say if they were watching your argument on YouTube? or Instagram. Well, if someone was watching this on TV, what would they say? They'd be like, "Yeah, man, probably both are wrong." Right? Or I need to settle down, or I would never let anyone watch it because I know I'm misbehaving. So the first thing is think about it from a neutral third party. All right, number two, be generous with your touch. Be generous with your touch. Generous with your touch. What they found was they did this study and they looked at couples. I believe it was in South America. I want to say Brazil, and they compared them to couples in Gainesville, Florida. Right? I'm laughing because I don't know why Gainesville, right? But here's the thing: they found that couples, and then they did it one in right. I mean, it was Paris. It was actually in Paris, all right? Because I remember it was romance, right? But this is also the case for Brazil and other. They touch more. They found like in an hour they touched like 67, maybe even 100 times, right? Within an hour, right? Just little small touches. In Gainesville, couples touched twice. In the UK, it was none. Right? In London, it was none. And so basically, we need to touch more outside of sex. We need to touch more, right? Women actually feel safer in a relationship when she is touched more outside of sex. Did you know that in a parking garage, if you hold a woman's hand, her anxiety goes down? Her anxiety goes down just by having you next to her and holding her hand. Now, I'm not saying, ladies, you can't hold your own. I know you can. You can hold it down better than some men. A lot of men. Let's just keep it real. I see you in the gym. Weight is weight, right? But just having someone touch them affectionately actually makes women feel more comfortable. And for men, we need more touch too, right? We need affectionate touch, even if you're not feeling it, just to sit next to your partner and hold their hand. Let your knee touch that knee, right? Let your knee touch that knee. Rub the back of each other's head. Now, if it's a woman of color, be careful. All right, give permission. Any woman, give permission to touch the hair. But just more touch. We need to touch more outside of sex because they actually did this study, y'all. I'm a geek, so I'm gonna give it to y'all. Right? They did the study with rats. Right? It's the legendary rat study where they wanted to see how resilient rats can be. Right? And so they put these rats in this water. I'm not saying it's ethical. Right? And they wanted to see how long the rats would swim before they died. And what they found was the certain rats would swim a certain time, and but all rats would eventually succumb. But if you take the rat out of the water and then rub the rat, let it dry off, rub it, give it some love, give it some touch, and put it back in the water, that rat will go from swimming 2 hours to 24 hours, 36 hours. Why? Physical touch and the idea that they can be rescued. So what's that have to do with us? Listen, we're in this world. This world is stressful. This world is toxic. This world is extremely, extremely stressful. And we all need a little bit of touch, right? We all need a little bit of touch. So make sure that you're touching your spouse outside of sex. Can y'all do that? Drop it in the chat. If you can do that, if you can touch the person you're with, even family, kids, mama, dad, if you can just touch just a little bit more to let them know I feel you, right? I'm here for you. Sometimes we don't even want to hear words. Just hug me. Just kiss me. Just lay with me. Just lay next to me. Just sit next to me on the couch. Just come by and give me a hug. I see you, Dr. Jack. Hey, if y'all looking, y'all see Dr. Jack, PhD. If y'all see her in here, y'all need to hit her up if you're looking for love and intimacy. One of the best psychologists in the country when it comes to sex and intimacy. Y'all see that, Dr. Jack, PhD. If y'all having some issues in the bedroom, but just overall intimacy, Dr. Jack is your psychologist of choice. I mean, that's real, right? So more generous with your touch. Even in Dr. Jack, I appreciate this. That touch, even foreplay, y'all. I mean, because we grown, right? It's your lunch hour. Might as well give y'all something, right? More touch. Do you know that more foreplay? All right, more foreplay, meaning touch. So slow down on getting to to the peaches. We'll say that. Keep this PG. I'm a family man here, right? And a minister, so I can't have Bishop calling me. So I saw you live, right? But before we get to the peaches, all right, make sure that you have some type of touch, right? Touch you should delay until you're about a 7 or 8 out of 10 in stimulation with just foreplay with touch. Just slow down, like women saying they love a man with slow hands. Y'all will get that. And love a man with slow hands. Men like a woman with slow hands too, right? Slow down and let's touch one another. Get a brother warmed up. Get a sister warmed up. Make it, get the desire high. You're actually gonna have men. You're gonna have more better libido, all right, because of the blood flowing, and women, the juices and berries gonna be. I'm just gonna leave it right there before I get in trouble. All right, so just slow down. And so that's not only true for romantic intimacy, but our kids need more touch. If you're raising boys, you'll find that your boys need somewhere between 6 to 10 times the amount of physical affection. Your husband, your boyfriend, your man, whatever, they need more physical touch. Women typically talk to feel connected, and men tend to need to feel connected in order to talk. So what if we met halfway, brothers? What if we were talking to the woman we love, right? And then she touches us in response. Are you understanding the song and dance? Are you understanding how this thing could work? And if you like this kind of stuff, remember, join me. January 19th. That's Thursday. Tomorrow, just go to drtart.com for better husband, better wife. And we talking about all these things. Actually, tomorrow I'm actually talking about how to enhance and restore a deep emotional connection. So y'all check that out. Just go to drtart.com and register. But basically what it is in an hour you can actually feel closer because of the exercises I'm going to put you through. All right. All right. Yeah, someone Telly said fair exchange is not robbery, right? We both shall be pleased. Right? Dr. Jack said, slow down. Where you have to go. The kids sleep. They might be gone. Right? They off to college, right? Slow down. All right. So that's number two. Be generous with your touch. And while we're there, ask your partner where they like to be touched, how they like to be touched. Right? You'll be surprised. And I just read this in the research. I didn't know this, that the ideal hug, if you're trying to get someone to feel loved, at least feel validated, is 20 seconds. I used to think it was shorter than that. Or I should think it was 6 seconds. A 20-second hug is going to do a lot. I'm telling you, you go home and hug your son, your daughter, your boyfriend, your girlfriend. That sounds juvenile to say boyfriend or girlfriend. Your king, your queen, your husband, your wife, in 20 seconds, they're going to feel it. Now, if it's a kiss, it's 6 seconds. 6 seconds kiss is enough to produce oxytocin, which is what we need. Like, it's the same chemical when we talk about touching that rat and rubbing that rat to help that rat feel loved, and you'll see mothers lick their offspring. We're talking about rats to actually clean them, but also to make them feel loved. You can say you love me, but if you're not touching me, do you really love me? If you're not touching me with your words and you're not touching me outside of what you can get. Now, I'm not saying it can't lead places, but if you're touching me numerous times throughout a date, sitting next to me. I took my wife on a date to see Avatar. Just quick poll. Can we all agree Avatar was entirely too long? Can we all agree? I mean, it didn't need to be 3 hours. The scene in the water when they were meeting the water, I'm not going to give it away, but the water, I was like, man, it could have been 10 minutes, not 50. 50 minutes. Oh my goodness. Anyway. Um, yes, anyway, I took her on a date after we went and got something to eat. And sister girl sat on the side of me to get pizza. I was like, your booth is over there. I'm in the booth, you in the booth. You're supposed to have a table in the middle. She said, no, I want to sit next to you. Right. But we needed that touch. We needed that connection. Right. That's real. All right. So whole health time said, yeah, too long. And I was thinking about life while watching it. Y'all, I ain't gonna lie. I took a little nap. I asked my wife, I was like, hold up, what happened to the little guy? The one that was half, I'm not trying to give it away. Whoa. How he get in the ship? How did he go? Anyway, y'all. So anyway, all right, let me get on to this. Y'all like, look, Doc, focus. All right. Here we go. I see you, cuz. I see you, Kimberly. Tartt's in the building. I see you. Number three, think about ways your partner has invested in a relationship for y'all. Ooh, this is a big one. All right. So in the book, it talks about how we are quick to criticize our partners, and something called NSO happens when we're in relationships. It's called negative sentiment override. It's basically when you can't find the positives because the negatives have overwritten the whole system. Like, you feel like your marriage is terrible, like your relationship is awful, right? Your relationship with your son and daughter is just terrible right now, right? It's because we let negativity override it to where the relationship feels worse than what it really is. I mean, that's real. Okay. And so when it says, think about the investments your partner has made, think, and I want you to actually share with your partner, like, you know what? You help. I read this in a book and said, a woman said she was thankful for her husband because he helped paint her mother's house, and she thought about how hot it was on that roof and those ladders, and how he painted her whole house, and it took him like 2 weeks because he was working full time, and he was doing this after work on the weekends. She was like, that was a major investment in our marriage because you knew mom needed that house to be painted. It was incredibly important to her to do that, and even though you had other things to do, sports to watch, relaxation, you did it. You did it, right? And the investment. So I'm gonna give y'all a homework assignment. I want you, for each family member, if you're dating the person you're in a relationship with, if you're married, let them know what investments they've made in your relationship, right? What relationships they've made in your relationship. So if I was to say my wife, I was like, look, you know what? You managed to get us ready for church, get the Trinity's dress ready, make sure Christian's ready for church, and make sure our oldest daughter has what she needs, even though she's 16. Might be some shoe malfunction, earrings, lipstick, blouse. Y'all understand having teenagers. You make it happen. Thank you for doing that. All I have to do is wake up and go to church and drive the car and load up Christian. That's it. I appreciate that. That means a lot. I appreciate my wife for getting us in Bible study, couples devotional, y'all. The love languages by Gary Chapman is a minute devotional. I purchased this because I made an investment in them. I purchased this for us, 2 copies, but my wife is the one saying, "Hey, we're gonna do the devotional tonight." Hey, y'all, I'm just letting y'all know, man. I appreciate you making an investment and making our marriage stronger. All right, so let them know. All right, because we're publicly critical and privately complimentary. Let that sink in, right? So you're in a even in family, right? Your daughter's making honor roll, but the minute she talks on Snapchat too long, we'll criticize. Let her know, hey, yeah, you do well on honor roll, but you need to get off Snapchat, right? Get off TikTok. All right. Or if I say get off the tickety talk, it ain't nothing going on over there. How many elephants can you see run through? How many chocolate giraffes can you see someone make? I mean, I look at it, I was like, what are you watching? Watch some anyway. I'm not. If I get kicked off here anyway. Um. All right. Yeah. All right. All right. Farmer Noob said hit him up. Chris said hit him up to get a copy. I will. All right. Number 4, view conflict as an opportunity for growth, y'all. I'm talking about 5 love hacks to help your relationship. Listen, you're going to have challenges in your relationship. I can tell you, Mecca and I, since adding a son, a third child, we have a 16, a 6, and a 1-year old. It's been a lot of challenges. All right, a lot of challenges, especially since this boy is active. How many of y'all have boys and you realize boys are not, it's not just boys. How many of y'all have multiple children and you realize that one is easier to raise than the other if you just want to be 100, right? This boy all over the place, right? So we look at conflict and say, how can we grow as a family instead of fighting against one another? How can we grow? And I'm gonna be specific. So I said, look, babe, that's a third college tuition. What can we do to make sure that we're working harder, I mean smarter, not harder, moving forward? Because I'm not trying to be in my 50s, 60s, 70s paying for college. You understand what I'm saying? So what can we do? And so Mac and I actually had a 3-day meeting at the top of the year, not all day, like an hour each day at the top of the year, figure out what moves we can make professionally, pursuing our passion, what God has called us to do spiritually, what God has moved us into. Like, and this is where these lives have come from. Like, God has clearly called me into ministry, but mental health ministry, to be able to address your questions. In a minute, I want y'all to ask, and then I'm gonna pray for someone. Just ask for prayer in a minute in the comment section. Right? I see someone just said they have 6 children. Yes. So yeah, you definitely need to be in prayer, right? But no, it allows you to be able to grow, expand your capacity, right? So how can we grow? How can we grow financially? How can we grow spiritually? How can we grow as a family? How can we grow as a couple? Right? Use conflicts as an opportunity to be able to grow versus to fight. And I see your questions coming in. And number 5, be generous when explaining your partner's behavior. All right. So in the book, All or Nothing Marriages, Dr. Finkel talks about um, uh, trying to minimize the criticisms that are internal for your partner, right? So instead of looking at your partner and saying you are an ungrateful person, try to make that something external, like you sometimes struggle with time management. This is the key in contempt, right? Couples don't like to be judged, right? So of saying you're an idiot, say sometimes you can be really insensitive. Does that make sense? So be generous in explaining your partner's behavior in the positive. So whatever your partner does well, you want to make that something internal. Alduan is a really compassionate guy. Mecca is a really funny person. Um, Melody is a really, really consistent person when it comes to being there for you, right? Be generous. Go home and just explain everything that you do. Be generous in explaining it as something that's internal, and then try to minimize what you say that's negative and internals. Try not to judge someone saying they're inconsiderate, they're unloving, they're uncaring, they're just miserable, right? Just try to say you're having a terrible day, you're struggling today. Those five love hacks. I'm gonna recap for those of you joining in. Five hacks based on this article from today.com by A. Pulowski. Number one, think about conflict from the perspective of a neutral third party. Pull back, act like you're watching this on YouTube and say, "Ooh, brother, change your behavior." Sister, let him finish. Right? Neutral third party so that you can have more balance. Number two, be generous with your touch. Slow down. Number three, think about and touch your partner outside of trying to initiate sex. All right, touch, and if it's kids, family, touch. A 20-second touch. If you're dating, a 6-second kiss. Number three, think about ways your partner has invested in the relationship and tell them. Write them a note, write them an email, send a video. Just go home and say, I want to let you know I'm so happy for things you have invested in our marriage, and be specific about it. Right? You made sure we go to those marriage retreats. You made sure we stayed together during the pandemic. You made sure that we kept date night going, right? Then invest. You make sure that the kids are taken care of so that we can have our date night. Number four, view conflict as an opportunity for growth. And so, how do we partner together back to back? Ecclesiastes 4 and 9. Two are better than one; they get better return for their labor. And then be generous when explaining your partner's behavior. That's positive, right? So we do those things, we're going to have better relationships, right? So I appreciate you, Whole Health Time, for buying a badge. Telly buying a badge, Dr. Jack buying a badge. I ain't never seen this badge stuff, y'all. So I'm new, all right. And so I'm excited. I want to be here. I'm the people's doc. I want to be here for you, right? Oh, I see you, Charmaine. You said Kiki graduated in February, became a medical assistant. Tell her let me hold something. They made a lot of money. All right. All right, so I see one of the questions. Like, how do you handle planning family events with each of your children are at different ages with different interests? Oh my goodness, that's real. I'm dealing with that right now. All right, so one, when you come home, your attention is divided. You need it, right? So we have a 16-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 1-year-old, and none of them need the same amount of attention. So here's what we do. One, we divide and conquer. So my wife might be with oldest daughter, our youngest daughter, Trinity. I might be, I might be with oldest daughter, 16, talking about what's going on, getting the juice about what's going on in school. How was the party? All right, who was drinking? Who was high? I'm just being. If you want to talk to a teenager, you better be real. Who's dating who? Was there drama? What happened? Right? Anyone wear your outfit? So I'm trying to get into her world. What happened in volleyball? Right? And then we might switch gears. I might talk to my 6-year-old about what happened after school. What was the dances that they were doing? She loves to dance. I see you roll a girl from Vegas. I left Vegas for the for the Usher concert, y'all. It was amazing. And then we had Faith. Faith Evans was there the night I was there, and Miguel. So I'm sorry for y'all that got the rappers T.I. and Too Short. You should have gone the next to last day. You would have gotten Faith Evans and Miguel. I'm not knocking T.I. or Too Short, but I want R&B if I go see R&B. But anyway, it's not about that. All right. So, and then also separate one-on-one time, right? It's time with my son. I wake up in the morning, 6 a.m. playing with him, right? We playing, we doing puzzles, cars. I'm wrestling with him as much as I can. I have been a little bit too rough. I have to remember he's only 1 year old, not 3, but I'm ready to get to the wrestling. I'm ready to get, as we say in the country, I'm ready to get to the wrestling. All right. I had 2 daughters. I'm ready to get to it. So yeah, we play, read books. And so that's one-on-one time. And so I try to have one-on-one time with each one of my kids. 16-year-old, totally different conversation. 6-year-old, totally different conversation. One-on-one time with my son who's one. And you have to do that. So you combine it and then you have different dates. So I might go, I went to go see Wakanda Forever, 6-year-old, oldest daughter. We'll go see a different type of movie. I will read right now. We're reading an Agatha Christie novel, and then there were none. All right, so something I do. With my 1-year-old, we're gonna play, and then it's time with my wife. So if you have multiple kids, you need to spend time with them separately, right? In time with your spouse, away from the kids, right? I told my wife I'm so happy to have time with her. MLK Day, right? Because the kids were over grandparents. I was like, girl, you look good. To not have to worry about the kids around and to be able to strengthen our marriage without also being in family and work mode, that is super important. All right. Roller girl, I see you said you met Miguel. He's nice. You met him working camera. All right. So shout out to you for broadcasting the world. And Miguel, he seemed like a really nice person. And my daughter was sick because we were live streaming. I don't know who's supposed to be doing that, but I was. I paid a lot of money for those tickets. I should be able to live stream if I want. And when she saw Miguel was there, she was hot. She was hot. All right. Work of art 524. Let me just stop and pause right now, because you are dealing with COVID. Let me pray. Lord God, I ask and pray that you allow her body to be able to heal, Lord, but you really heal her mind. In COVID, when I had it, I didn't have deep physical symptoms. I had mental symptoms of being alone and sequestered by myself, not wanting to get my kids and especially son sick, being so young. It was the mental strain, Lord. So I ask and pray that you allow her to have peace of mind and know that you're a God and that you're a healer and that you're going to heal her. And I ask and pray that you send friends and family her way to check on her, even Instagram family, to be in all of her DMs and say, what do you need? Sometimes total strangers can give us more than our family sometimes. I'm just keeping it real. So I ask and pray that we be able to cover her, Lord, and that you be able to cover her and know that this too shall pass, and get her the right medicine and get her the right access to docs to be able to heal. We pray that she has mild symptoms, Lord. If they're moderate to severe right now, that they're able to subside and that she's able to get the care and not try to tough it out, to be anxious. Call and say, hey, look, you might need to monitor my oxygen levels. And so, Lord God, we ask and pray, Lord, that you allow her to be able to recover, to be well, and to be back at it in no time, and for our friends and family to cover her. So that's important. All right. So any questions, y'all drop them, and then we will. I'll see y'all every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, y'all. And remember, if you haven't registered for Better Husband, Better Wife, go to drtartt.com. Link is in my bio. I'm also doing a grief and loss group coming up in 2 weeks. If you lost someone, if you know someone who's lost someone, register. My link is in my bio. You can register on my Instagram page. Just go right to the link and it'll tell you how to register for my grief and loss class. I had one 2 weeks ago and it was absolutely amazing in helping people to grieve better. Right? Like, how do you grieve? All right. And so I want to do that. So those are the two classes: the marriage class, which is happening tomorrow and every second Thursday of the month. I know tomorrow's the third, but every second Thursday of the month, we're doing Better Husband, Better Wife. But also, I'm doing this grief and loss group probably twice a month or as much as you all need it. And you can check that out, link in bio on my Instagram page, to register a loved one to help them to cope better. Right? There is a way to cope that's actually better, right? To make people able to move from complicated grief. So I'm excited about it. And I offer you all a free office hour, right? Where I'm just meeting with you about grief and loss, about where you get stuck, what you need. And I'm doing that because, look, God has told me to go out to you all, regardless of what your faith is, and to be a living example, and giving you a place to be able to ask your mental health questions, your relationship questions. I don't care whether you're dating, engaged, married, is complicated, divorce, and looking to re-up with someone better, better fit for you. No disrespect. Okay. Um, So I'm excited about it. All right. And also send me your suggestions. Whole health time. I want y'all to follow whole health time. I want to get your body right, your mind right, and to be able to reset. It says how to focus on your life instead of worrying about other people's life. That's a good one. Send me your suggestions. I'll work for you. I'll find the research and I'll present on it. All right. So I'm excited. I will see you all again soon. I thank you all for the badges. I thank you all for the love. I thank you all for tuning in. And make sure you hit me up in a DM and say, hey, Doc, this is what I need. All right. This is what I need. All right. And last question before we go, and I pray you all out. I see Laquanda Harper saying, hey, I need some info for singles in Atlanta. That's a special project. Please update the ring formula. All right. I will. We're actually working on that. It's actually coming out probably the middle or end of February. Because I know y'all say I do all this work for people dating. And single people date. Let's get it right. I want to make sure y'all date well. But they also say, hey, help me to find a date. Help me to do the work. Help me to be happily single. I'm actually doing that work. I've actually done the research on how you can be happily single, and it is going to blow you away because you want to be happily single or happily in a relationship. What you don't want is to be unhappily single and unhappily in a relationship. We're going for the happy people, right? Because when you're happily single, you can hold out for the best. But when you're unhappy, if Nicki Minaj called me, I say, well, her mama was a preacher. Mama or daddy, our grandma or grandpa. One of them was a preacher. She might be able to work, right? But she may not be in that phase of life, y'all, right? But if I'm hard up, I'm gonna try to make it work, even though that may not be where Sister Girl is right now, right? But I can hold out. I can hold out if I'm happily single because my relationships are working at work, in the community, and I have people to do life with. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So now the questions are coming in. All right. How do you deal with people who are so spiritual but lose touch with reality? All right, I'll answer that one as well. All right, one, practical application, right? Because we can be so much in our words, we're of no earthly good, right? If all we do is minister in church, how do I help person on Instagram that's dealing with COVID, that's dealing with loneliness? I can be in the DMs saying, hey, have you seen this movie? Or hey, there's an event going on tonight. You might want to be, because I know you're an Usher fan. You know that Usher is going to be in concert again in Vegas. Hey, I found this connect cheap tickets. Well, ain't no cheap ticket with Usher, but on less expensive tickets, you might want to go. Right, that little bit right there, getting someone out the house, that's real. Right, so I would start the conversations with go to Gottman. No, no, no. Go to your phone and download Gottman card decks. Gottman. Gottman with two T's. Gottman card decks. And start going through the card decks. It allows you to ask your partner questions, friends questions like where would you like to travel? What are the top three needs you have? What's the top thing going on right now in society that has you concerned? And that way you can kind of get them talking about real things and connecting with real people, right? Most of the time we're isolated, and that's how we get too much in our own head. So make sure that y'all are out doing life with people. Can y'all do that? The studies show we're unhappy because our relationships are not strong. And I'm not talking about just our romantic relationships. I'm talking about we don't do life with people anymore. After the pandemic, this text, I don't know about y'all, this texting, even send me an audio message is not getting it done. Call me, give me an 8-minute phone call. Call me, check on me. Let's do 4 and 4. Let's come break bread together. Come by the office. I stop in the hallway where I used to just be back and forth and just ask people, how you doing? If I really want to assess someone's mental health, how you sleeping? Hello, hello, all right? How you doing? All right. Oh, someone said repeat the site, please. Okay. So drtart.com to register for the marriage class that we do every Thursday, every second Thursday, but it's happening tomorrow because we didn't do it last week. If you're looking for the grief and loss class, just simply go to the bio and my Instagram. If you're looking for the cards to do to build a better family, but it's geared towards relationships, Gottman card decks. Gottman card decks. Oh, and someone reminded me. Thank you, Betty. If you are looking, oh, DM me, Betty, about those seasonings. All right. Please DM me. All right. Someone was able to give us some seasonings that are healthy, that taste good when we were on a retreat in St. Martin for the girlfriend getaway. So shout out to you. Right. Thank you. I see you. Yeah, I did. I was on Portia yesterday. I appreciate that. And September's Angel. You know, it's so funny. You call people by the Instagram, but you know them in real life by something else. So shout out to you. So I'm excited. There it is. And someone dropped the link in there for man. Okay. All right. All right. I will do this. All right. And then I'm gonna actually see a client in a minute. But it says, can you talk about fear of intimacy, especially in avoiding dating? All right. All right. You know why we fear intimacy? These questions are getting good. I like this. Right. Um, Fear of intimacy. We fear intimacy because we've been hurt before. Right. And so that's a good opportunity to get yourself counseling because hurt the body keeps score, the mind keeps score, it keeps score. Why would I want to get close to someone if they're only going to hurt me? If my own mama hurt me, if my own dad hurt me, my own brother, sister, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, partner, whatever it is, fill in the blank, hurt me, why would I get close again? Don't you realize that separation and loneliness is an attack of the enemy? The devil separated Adam and Eve. He will even in jail. What's the punishment? Solitary confinement. So what we have to do is find that bridge, that happy middle ground, to be able to date safely, right? So what you want to do is you want to vet people, like the bank, before they do business with you. They vet you, right? I see Darren's on here. Before Darren was a big time reporter, DC area, they had to vet this brother to see, was he a real athlete? Does he really know what he's talking about? Is he good on camera? And he is, right? You have to be vetted. People don't take you don't take people at their word. Right, before the bank gives you money, they're gonna look at that credit score. They're gonna look at your assets. I just got off a call with my financial planner, and I said, I think we have college locked down for my oldest. He said, show me, show me. I think he knows I was fudging a little bit, but anyway, right? So vet, so slow down with the dating and get to know someone really well. That way you can have safety when it comes to intimacy and connection, right? Is it normal for a man to be fearful of marriage, marriage's weight and responsibility? Yes, because of the responsibility we put on ourselves as men. I was coming out of a Hawks game, and there was a man with his wife and two children. They were homeless. They were sleeping on the floor. All right, coming out of the Hawks game, and I went to go give him some money, and a total stranger grabbed my hand and said, "Don't do that." I said, "How you figure?" And he said, "Man, that man's out here. That man should be working. Why is that man laying on the ground while his wife and kids are out here in the cold so that we can give money? That man needs to be working. That man needs to be at McDonald's. That man needs to be parking cars. That man needs to be Ubering, not Ubering because he didn't have a car. But I gave money. I went back and gave him money anyway. But I also saw how we are, right? Like, man, as a man cannot sit out here. If time you're sitting out here asking for money, you could be washing someone's car. So men, we put a lot of responsibility on ourselves to make sure that the family goes without. And sometimes it's too much pressure. Don't you realize when you marry a phenomenal person, in this case, in this question, a woman, a phenomenal woman of God, or phenomenal woman, regardless of your faith, that two is better than one, they get better return for their labor, right? So sometimes we go too far, right? But men want to make sure that they can hold it down. So here's what the conversation: you can't let fear stop you from marrying a woman you love. Wow, wow. What's gangster about that? What's hard about that? What's manly about that? What's that's not strong. But be able to talk about it real time. You just heard me say I just came off a call with my financial planner. All right, my wife, you can sit down with a financial planner and say, how do we do this? Right? Like, how do we handle this? Wait, how do we combine these families? Let's talk about how to do it versus simply fear it. Write down the issues and move forward and making sure that you have a marriage that can stand a test of time. There's something called a SYMBIS assessment we give a lot of clients. SYMBIS stands for Saving Your Marriage Before It Starts. It's an actual book, but it's also a premarital curriculum to help couples. And we see so many couples do this pre-engagement because who wants to wait to have problems? Let's go ahead and merge our two worlds together now, right? So I appreciate y'all for joining me. Listen, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right now, we're going to do this live. So send your questions, tell other people about me, and I'll pray you out. And I'm just looking forward to it, right? Yeah, I see Erica joking. She said, I'm everywhere. Just heard a commercial. about Willie Moore Jr. So y'all tune in on Wednesdays, Relationship Wednesdays on Willie Moore Jr. show on Praise 102.5 Radio 1, where I'm giving out this type of advice. I told you God has called me to do this. What's the point of me being in this office? If you were blessed today with information, and you're going to be blessed in the future, because I'm going to serve you. When you say you need something, I'm going to say, all right, bam. You want to know about how to overcome intimacy? You want intimacy issues? You want to know how to recover from divorce? You want to know how to actually be more social so you can meet more people, to get more brothers in your DMs, or how to date if you don't like social media piece? I love doing it. All right. All right. So I'm gonna pray. I see, let's see, the last book I mentioned, I think it was either All or Nothing Marriages. I mentioned All or Nothing Marriages by Eli Finkel. I mentioned Love Language Minute Devotional by Gary Chapman, if you're looking for a devotional to do with your better half. I also talked about Gottman, Gottman card decks. I think those were the three in your app store. I think those are the three that I mentioned. Okay. So let me pray. Lord God, I thank you for everyone on this live. Lord, I thank you, Lord, for allowing me to just be on fire, to be able to serve them, to spend time, to spend my lunch hour with them, to be able to give them the living food that you've given us through your word, but to be able to do it in a relatable way so people can feel seen, heard, and validated, and get in good relationships, family, dating, marriage. If you've been divorced, get back out there. There's a brother crying right now because he can't find a good sister. There's a sister saying, where are all the good men? The good men, like, why are you choosing all the bad boys? So I just ask and pray, even if you have a teenager watching this now or later, that you allow her to be able to reach out to other friends and do life outside the phone. That you allow friends to be able to be there to support their brother in Christ, and to be there and say, I got you, regardless of what's going on. I'll do life with you. And so we just ask and pray you help us to feel more connected, more whole, and that you give us better mental health and relationships. These things we ask in Jesus' holy name. Amen. All right, y'all take care. God bless.